Hello and welcome back. This particular little video we're doing today is sleeper rookie picks. Now, what do we mean by sleepers? We're talking about rookies that are not necessarily going to be the first ones taken. And in redrafts leagues, these are the kind of guys that are going to drop down a number of rounds before people start honing in on them and potentially taking them as a lottery pick. And that's exactly what they are. They're a chance, a player that could break out from year one and do something in any league format. So that's why we're going to highlight them for this particular video. The first player that I'm going to talk about is McGuire for the Jets running back. Now, at the moment, we know the Jets are in complete disarray in terms of the team. They've got a lot of issues. We kind of already hinted at how bad it could be for them this year. So that means that by definition it's always worth in fantasy looking at the kind of players that are underneath the surface that are not getting any love at the moment. And McGuire is one of those. If anything happens to Bilal Powell or Bilal Powell doesn't work out, McGuire might suddenly find his way into a 3-down role because they need him. And this makes him exciting as a lottery pick. He's pretty much free. I mean, in deep redraft leagues, you're getting him incredibly late. So it's an actually very interesting pick to think about as a sleeper because he's one of them you can take a punt on and hope for the best. You're losing nothing, and who knows what might happen. But it is just that. It's a punt. It's a gamble. These are the big risk kind of players. This next one is not so big a risk, actually, but it is a very interesting player. D'Onta Foreman for the Texans is the sort of number two, the consensus number two behind Lamar Miller. We all know that Lamar Miller had a bit of a down year last year. There are a number of reasons why that might have occurred. We most notably, both of us have agreed, myself and Al, that that's probably down to the quarterback and a few coaching issues. That's probably quite true. But this kid comes in. He is very talented runner between the tackles. He fits the offensive scheme incredibly well. He looks perfect for it. I think he just needs opportunity. And I've got a feeling they may well split the load a little bit. It'll be very heavy in Lamar Miller's favour, but it wouldn't surprise me that quickly grows. So I think D'Onta Foreman offers value even early on in a flex position. And who knows, if something happens to Lamar Miller, then this is a great player to take a punt on. And he's the kind of player in all sort of league formats that's, again, I've seen different valuations on him, and that tells you a lot of how valuable this could be. We know how good the Texans' defence is. We also know how good they can actually run the ball when given the opportunity to do so. So I'm interested to see what happens with this guy, and if he's at the right value in any league, I definitely will take a punt on him. My favourite player, I've actually managed to get in the Dynasty League recently, which I really like, is this bloke I'm about to talk about next, Joe Williams, in San Francisco running back. Now, I like Joe Williams' story. It's a great story, and it's well worth reading up about what happened to Joe Williams. A few things I noticed when I went around on forum boards. People have really not understood the story. I'm going to quickly tell you a little bit about him. Basically, he retired from football for 1 month, and the reason he retired is that his sister died, and he had lost the motivation to play. It just the whole, well, you would do. He's had a bereavement, a tragedy, and they're in the twilight of the season. I don't think I'd want to play football, quite frankly. So he retired. He made a snap decision just to leave. There's nothing more to it than that. There's no deeper mystery at it. He just couldn't put his mind to football and thought it was the right thing for the team. The team begged him to come back. And when he played in the bowl, he had one of the greatest bowl performances ever seen in modern times. This guy, if given the opportunity in San Francisco, could be fantastic. Now, he's got to beat out Carlos Hyde. And we all know Carlos Hyde is one of these players, been around a number of years. He's very, very residual. He's one of those kind of guys, a bit like Frank Gore, who always seems to stay on in the team. But maybe if there's a changing of the guard, and maybe because of the story with Joe Williams and the fact that the coach, from all accounts, really wanted him, maybe there's an opportunity. There's some whispers and rumours at the camp at the moment that other players have shone out above Joe Williams. But I mean, I think a lot of this is smoke and mirrors at this time of the year. We're not really going to know much until we hit the season. But if you're going to take a punt late in the league on any rookie, I certainly would throw a dart at Joe Williams and see how that pans out. In any format, it's worth a shot because, again, if he works his way into the lineup in any format, you've got return value. It's not like you're having to pay high for him. This is a guy both me and Al are very high, and I think Al probably likes him a little bit more than me, but I definitely see some value here. It's Jeremy Nichols, Tampa Bay running back, sitting behind really. He's probably going to be the third down back. Al clearly highlights this very well. And there's a lot of work in that offense. We think how they've improved, Tampa Bay. We think about how the line's improved just with the addition of the new tight end and other things that have gone well for them this off-season. I actually like Jeremy Nichols' opportunity to shine, and I think he could be a very good a very good outlet valve here for Jameis Winston, and I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him have return value straight away. He could be a very sneaky PPR player, Jeremy Nichols, very quickly. We don't have to worry about Doug Martin in the first few weeks. I'm guessing, like most people, that Jockey's Rogers, whatever his name is, I do apologise, probably gets all the work early doors. But Jeremy Nichols will still be relevant because you're not always going to face certain downs required to bring him in. He might have more work than people give him credit for, and he could prove very useful. We both like his speed, very, very quick, very unusually fast game speed. There's two types of speed. You've got track and you've got game speed. Now, game speed for me is when a player just seems faster when they're on the field, and this is one of those players. He's really good. Now, my final player, my final deep sleeper is a guy I think actually has value from day one, actually, and that's Kenny Golladay in Detroit. They've already announced, actually, just the other day that they've made him the third receiver. They're putting him in the slot role. That excited me straight away because, as I've already said about Detroit, I definitely like what Matthew Stafford has done there, and I like the kind of moves that they've been making. And I think Kenny Golladay has some great opportunity. Big man, a great red zone target. He could develop into a fantastic wide receiver too. He's the kind of guy, actually, I've already penned in for sort of between 600 and 800 yards year one, and probably about 6 touchdowns is realistic. I'm not expecting the earth. But again, in any league format, given the fact he'd be pretty much going free, that's actually not a bad return. And if it should pan out that he does better than expected, then that's a legitimate wide receiver too you've just picked up for very little. So these are my deep sleepers for this year. I wonder what yours are. I wonder what your thoughts are. And we look forward to hearing whether you agree or disagree with us. Anyway, that's been Deep Sleepers. See you next time.